Got a lot of questions on claims, obviously. Been driving around the state like a madman. And at the very least, you want to talk to your agent to say, we've had some damage. We don't know if it's going to be over our deductible. We need to be providing the information to the agent so they can at least process it. We have 3 more storms out in the Atlantic this second. Okay, so we got to think cumulative. Almost everybody has an aggregate hurricane deductible. So just because you say, oh, I'm missing some shingles, this isn't going to be over my deductible, I'm going to just phone it in. Or we have a lot of handy individuals in the association. We'll just make permanent repairs ourselves, or we know somebody. Be very careful with that. So process it, get it to your agent. I've been to 90% of my condos to at least collect that information, whether they want to go forward or not. We need to have a conversation and talk about, does it make sense to submit that claim or not? So that's been the majority. Not a lot of them have been over the deductible, but they've been close. You get your agent, who should be your advocate in the claims process. They helped you put the insurance in place, the program in place, but they work for you. So we talk about the public adjusters. They have a duty and they have a role to play to help associations to be made whole. But your agent is part of the team that's helping you get back to being fully restored as soon as possible. And so are your attorneys and the rest of your team. You're going to hear from Servrpro. They're going to help you get made whole as well. But your agent is the one that's going to be fighting on your behalf. And let them do their job. And then if the insurance company's coming back, and also get estimates from other vendors, restoration companies, whatever they may be, say what is the cost going to be, and if it's not matching up with what the carrier is saying they're going to provide you in a claim, then you can escalate it from there. But take the steps small, one at a time, one bite at a time, and make it, the earlier you get it in, the better, obviously, with the amount of supply and demand we have going on right now.
Number one asked questions I received this week from condominium clients was, we have damage, it does not meet anywhere near our deductible, therefore can we just pass on the repair work to our owners? And the answer is, if you're a condominium, no. If the association is responsible for insuring it and it's caused by the insurable event, which is Hurricane Irma at this point, the association's responsible to make those repairs, unless your association had a vote of the total membership and a majority of them voted to do things differently in those types of cases. And that would be a notice that had to be recorded here in Brevard County. So that's probably the number one question I've been asked. We don't have that much damage. Can we just have the owner repair it because it affected their unit, or just have the owners take care of it individually because it was just affecting them? And the answer is no, unless you've already had that vote. And this is why it's really important, because we are only in September. Hurricane season goes through November 30th, to make sure that your association is at least notifying your insurance agent so that you can have these processes started, because you may at the end of the season have enough damage where it's worthwhile for you to proceed with that claim and have those issues resolved with your hurricane deductible.
If you have a dispute in the claims process, just to kind of start from the beginning, you have damage, you have water coming in, or it's apparent that there's some structural issue. At the outset, you're not sure if it's over your deductible or if it's worth a claim or whatever. You're getting your agent involved. Or some people are calling their carriers directly. I don't suggest you do that. Your agent has a job, not just to send you a bill every year. They should be helping you through this. So you have an issue, you contact your agent. We go out there together. We collect information first, take pictures of the state. Then we want to protect. We want to make sure no further damage is going to happen, no water's getting into the building. That's our first thing. We're drying things out so we're not getting the M word. We're not getting any mold. We're not getting any bacteria. So those are steps one. We'll call an adjuster, get on their schedule. 24, 48 hours. Hopefully they're coming out. At this point, some of that's been extended. They come out, they do their first research. And at the same time, you can have a third party of your own, a roofer, an engineer, provide an estimate so that you're keeping them honest. That was already addressed as well. So now we have an estimate from the carrier provided by the adjuster. We have a third party from whoever that may be, and they're in disagreement. And at this point, we're sitting down at the table. Could be the board, along with the agent, to try to work through and see, can we close that gap? And if that gap can't be closed, now we're talking about, do you get a public adjuster involved? Your attorney's involved in the whole process, but at some point, There is, depending on how your insurance contract is written, there's mediation, there's third parties, there's umpires, and you're going down the rabbit hole at that point. Things are going to slow down, possibly, but that doesn't mean that you couldn't protect some of your actual roof and structure. Obviously, that's a worst case scenario, and it does happen. It doesn't happen as most people think. Carriers do want to pay out money when things go wrong, at least ours do, but they don't always agree with the damage all the time, and some public adjusters may convince you you have $1.5 million claim because they want to get that healthy chunk of theirs. That's how they're incentivized, right? They want to get that, whether it's 10% or 20 or 30%, and the carrier may disagree. And so what evidence you have and what your team is to back you up to get to that middle area so that you're made whole is where the rubber hits the road.